Hi, everyone. Thank you for making the time to be here today. I am Sylvia Chang from Blue Earth Consultants, a division of ERG, and I will be leading the training today on the Regional Coastal Integrated Information Management System, or the Regional IMS. Please note that this session is being streamed on Zoom and YouTube and is being recorded. The recording will be made available on the Regional IMS platform. Everyone is muted to reduce background noise. Please save your questions to the very end. And if you're joining us through Zoom, you can raise your hand if you have any questions. When we take questions at the end, you will be able to unmute yourself if you would like to speak. You could also type in your questions using the chat box. And if you're joining us through YouTube, please feel free to type in your questions in the chat box. Our staff will be monitoring the chat boxes on both Zoom and YouTube platforms. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge our Project Technical Steering Committee on the call, Dr. Tanisha Stevenson and Marcia Ford from the University of West Indies, and Ansley Henry from the PPCR Program Management Unit at UE Mona. Funding for this project is from the Inter-American Development Bank, and Mr. Gerald Lang from the bank will be making brief welcoming remarks in a little bit. So first, we will go through the objectives for today's training workshop, then a brief overview of the Regional IMS project. We will then jump into a demonstration of the Regional IMS web interface and metadata uploading, and provide an overview of the verification process for metadata, and then end with some Q&A. So the objectives of today's training workshop is to provide an overview of the Regional IMS project, as well as an overview of the Regional IMS web interface by demonstrating some of the key features and functionality. So before we begin, let's welcome Mr. Gerald Lang from the Inter-American Development Bank for some welcoming remarks.
Oh, thank you very much, Sylvia, and welcome to everyone. On behalf of the bank, I want to welcome you to this training session on the RCIIMS, as we affectionately call it. I will be very brief because I know that we are all at this point of a very long year, all webinar fatigued out, workshop fatigued out, so I will be brief. I just want to briefly say that, you know, we recognize there's an increasing focus on the issue of sustainable infrastructure, and for island states, that infrastructure, a majority of that infrastructure, of that critical infrastructure, is along the coastal zone, and we see the need to improve on the resilience of that infrastructure, of how we build it, how we even retrofit that infrastructure, given the impacts of climate change. And we see that the RCIIMS is an important tool in this effort as we build resiliency, as we look at how we monitor how infrastructure is built, as we verify the infrastructure, as we report on it, as we compare how the infrastructure is built. You know, for the bank, we will continue to support the efforts of this program, and we'll want to expand on its application throughout the region. So I really want to encourage you to make the most of this training and to start to begin to think of how you integrate the use of the program in your coastal zone programming, in your blue economy programming. And if I don't get to say it at the end, happy holidays to everyone. It's been a long year, but I think we have done well, and I look forward also to the training session. Thank you, Sylvia. Back over to you.
Great. Thank you so much, Mr. Lang. We are excited to share with everyone the Regional IMS and hope it is a valuable resource for climate planning in the Caribbean region. Okay, great. So here we provide prepared a slide with some definitions and key acronyms that we will use during our training. So RCIIMS stands for the Regional Coastal Integrated Information Management System, or the Regional IMS. PPCR were the pilot program for climate resilience. UE were University of West Indies. IMS were Information Management System, the system which assembles, stores, processes, and delivers information that are relevant to decision making and has hardware and or software components to maintain the infrastructure. So metadata describes the characteristics of the data. Metadata may include the title, description, data accessibility, data content, the date of the last update, publisher, contact name, and email, the access web link, and geographic scope. Dataset is a collection of information, including tabular data, geospatial data, text such as assessments and reports. Database, data system, platform, it is a collection of data sets and is synonymous with catalogs, data portals, and directory. So databases could be specific to organizations, projects, programs, platforms, and/or networks. So the Regional IMS is a free online platform of metadata aimed at supporting climate analysis and national and regional climate planning activities. It is currently piloted for Dominica, Grenada, Haiti, Jamaica, St. Lucia, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It is created under the Caribbean Regional Track of the PPCR, executed by the UE-MONA Office for Research and Innovation, with funding provided by the Climate Investment Funds and administered by the Inter-American Development Bank. So the Regional IMS hosts metadata. It links to external data sets and IMSs. It's free to use and Caribbean focus. It does not, however, host data sets and IMSs directly, and users cannot download data directly from the platform. So here is a diagram of how new metadata on the Regional IMS is sourced, reviewed, published, and managed. So key partners of the Regional IMS is composed of key governmental agencies and organizations that produce and or use data, including you all currently participating in this training. So key partners will share new metadata and make updates to existing entries and promote the Regional IMS to other stakeholder groups in the Caribbean. And as we heard from multiple key stakeholders during our research and development phases, the platform will be as good as the information that it contains. So you all will be critical to the success of the Regional IMS. So next, the newly submitted metadata goes through a verification process led by the Regional IMS verification team. So this team will review newly updated metadata and then publish the entry onto the Regional IMS. These volunteers represent the 6 pilot PPCR countries and regional partner bodies. We will go into more detail later in the presentation. So next, UE-MONA Information Technology Services, or UE-MITS, will act as the Regional IMS host and manager. MITS will be responsible for managing the hardware and software components of the Regional IMS and providing backup storage of the IMS data and ensuring that there is high availability of the data content and services. Here, we provide a snapshot of the geographic distribution of existing marine and coastal data sets and systems, as well as their relevancy across topical areas. The project team identified at least 102 existing data sets where systems, through web-based research, online surveys, and interviews that are related to coastal and marine topics and relevant to climate adaptation and resilience planning. So this likely does not capture all of the relevant and available data sets and systems in these PPCR countries, particularly those that are stored offline and were only available by request. And here, regional pertains to 3 or more countries. All right, great. So before we jump into the Regional IMS demonstrations, here is an overview of the 3 types of users on the Regional IMS platform. So the first one is general user. No user accounts is needed to browse and view metadata. The regional IMS aims to be an open and free platform. So if you would like to upload metadata, this requires registering for a free user account. For admin, verification team members will have admin level access to review, verify, and publish metadata. They will also be able to manage other user accounts and appoint new verification team member replacements. Okay, great. So I'm going to jump onto the platform. So here is the homepage of the Regional IMS platform. As a quick overview, you'll see the following tabs on the homepage. Datasets. So this tab includes a full list of available metadata on the Regional IMS. Organizations. This includes the Regional IMS collection of metadata entries. Topics. This includes a list of topical icons. And About. This tab includes a description of the Regional IMS platform, a user guide link, and also link to a recording of this training. On the homepage, you will also see a search bar, most common tags, and topic icons if you scroll down. Sorry, accidentally clicked on policy. At the bottom of the homepage, there are acknowledgement links to CIF, UE-MONA, and IDB. In addition, at the bottom, I'm currently logged into my account, but then there are links to log in and register to create a user account to upload metadata, as well as contact form to submit any technical questions. So to get started, you can do a keyword search in the search bar, or navigate to the topics icon at the bottom of the homepage. So for example, we will do a search for climate, coral reef climate as keywords. So this will bring you to a page with all the results, and you'll see there are 2 data sets found for the keywords related to coral reef and climate. And you can use the filter bar on the left-hand side of this page to refine your search. And if you can compare the total results and the blue bubbles on the right side of each of the topics and tags, you can see how many results are further refined by each tag or topic. So let's take the first one. So the first one is NOAA's Coral Reef Watch. So at the very top of this page, you'll see that there are 3 tabs that are related to this metadata. So the first one, this tab dataset, it's the metadata entry for the dataset or IMS, which includes a brief description, a link to the resource, associate tags, which are generated from our research. But then for new metadata, these tags are developed by the uploader of the metadata. Additional information related to the metadata, so such as the geographic scope, the author, and also the email for the author and maintainer if that's available. On this page, there's also a follow button. So if you have a Regional IMS account, you can receive notifications in your newsfeed for any changes in the metadata that you follow. And lastly, the Regional IMS has a social media feature in which you can share metadata through Twitter or Facebook to your colleagues. For the next tab, Topics. This tab shows which topics the metadata entry or IMS is associated with. So for this one, it is associated with climate. And for the last tab, Activity Streams, this shows recent activities for the dataset, so such as recent updates. This also includes previous versions of the metadata entry and specific changes made. So you can search and view the previous versions if you like. All right, great. So moving on is creating metadata entry. So when you To create a metadata entry, you'll need to log into your account, which I'm currently logged into mine. And to create a new data set or metadata, navigate to Datasets tab. And there's this button at the very top. Click Add Dataset. So here, users can manually enter metadata information or select from drop-down menus. So on this page, Create Dataset, you'll see that there's a title, enter the name of the dataset or IMS, description or the abstract, some useful information of this dataset, tags or keywords such as climate, hazard, fish, temperature, flood, roads. Tags are helpful for users of the regional IMS to find this metadata. And license. You can choose other, open, or other not open to indicate whether or not this dataset or IMS is publicly available. For organization, this is default to the regional IMS. For visibility, this is the setting in which it is visible to a publicly available or it's private. So I'll get to this in a little bit. But default, it is set to private until the verification team member approves the submission. Source, or the link to the website or IMS. For a geographic scope, please check the various countries, where if it's 3 or more, select regional. For version, this is the publication date of the IMS or data set. Author, or the name of the data producer or organizational affiliate, and the email that is associated to the author. Maintainer, or the current point of contact. So we understand that staff, there may be movement of staff, so it is important to keep the maintainer up to date in case a user is interested in a data set and need to get in contact with the data producer. So after the user fills out this page, I've done this before our training, you can hit next to add data. So but this is how it looks like for the next page. And this is where if a data set or IMS has multiple resources, the user can provide multiple links and also descriptions to those various resources, such as if a data set has a PDF, a geospatial data, or CSV file, the user can upload multiple links if relevant. So for this one here, the URL, if it's different from the previous page, please enter a new link or website to the resource. Same for the name. If the name of the dataset or IMS is the same as the first page, please repeat it. And description, if it's different, please feel free to include some useful notes about this particular data. And format, you can type in the various, the format, the type of this file. So it could be CSV, Excel, Word, shapefile, JSON, PDF. So the user submits the metadata for verification once you hit finish. And the entry will remain private until it is verified and published by the verification team. And once you hit finish, the user will be brought to their metadata entry. And so I will show you how that will look like. So here you'll see that it has a private tag here, which means it is not verified by a verification team member yet. But at this point, you'll be able to see your newly submitted metadata. So after this, The user clicks on the Topics tab here to choose a topic to add to the metadata entry to. So note that you can include multiple topics as relevant to the metadata. So the user guide will have more information and details regarding the process for uploading metadata, including tips for uploading metadata for offline datasets and datasets with multiple resources. So to ensure that the regional IMS continues to contain useful and relevant information for climate resilience planning activities, there is a process for verifying new metadata entries uploaded by regional IMS users. The regional IMS verification team is a group of pre-selected volunteers who will review newly updated metadata, make any necessary edits, make new metadata entry public. So members represent the 6 pilot PPCR countries and regional partner bodies, including partners and experts from governmental, academic, nonprofit, and private sectors with experience in data management, climate change planning, and/or marine and coastal resource management. In addition, the verification team will promote cross-country and regional discussion and collaboration on data collection, data sharing, and regional IMS use through stakeholder networks and capacity building fora. Few of the current affiliate organizations of the regional IMS the verification team includes the Caribbean Community Climate Change Center, Dominica Physical Planning Division, the Foundation por la Protección de la Diversidad Marine, Grenada Ministry of Agriculture and Lands, Grenada Ministry of Tourism, Civil Aviation and Climate Resilience and the Environment, Haiti Climate Change Department of the Ministry of the Environment, and Planning Institute of Jamaica. For the verification team members, there are step-by-step instructions for the verification process and user management features on the regional IMS. You can refer to the user guide for more details. We will also upload a recording of an overview of the verification process on the About page when it is made available. So this concludes the training for the regional IMS platform.